We are live, Zach. We are live. We'll give a few minutes for the people to come in. It's early Sunday morning. We are worldwide right now, Zach. I believe probably early morning, late night there in Europe. If we have any of our European fans tuning in for the first time, obviously here in Australia, we have just hit 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning. So maybe people are still rolling out of bed, but Zach, over in your part of the world, it's a beautiful, what is it, sunny? Sunny over there? You got summertime?
Very hot, dude. Very hot in Texas. The ants are out. Fire ants are everywhere. But right now it's 5 p.m. The UFC Shanghai was a crazy time, man. They were fighting like I think in the middle, like 3-4 a.m. Because they're over in China and
Yeah.
Shanghai. So that was an interesting kind of international event that they had here recently.
Yep. I actually have not kept up. So that's all finished. I thought maybe it would have been later on today, but like not later on today, but like pretty much now-ish, but it's already all done. How did the main event
go? Johnny Walker played foil and he knocked him out, dude, second round.
Crazy.
how everyone expected that to happen.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, man, that's not what the UFC wanted in UFC China for sure.
Nope, definitely not. He played
considering that
for sure.
That guy was on a 3-fight. The first 3-fight, obviously KOs as well for the Chinese fighter. So, damn, that's not very nice at all. But last weekend, speaking of not nice, Zach, what is doing with the UFC community? Can you tell me?
What do you mean? Are you surprised? I'm not surprised by this one bit. This always happens.
Zach's actually done up a really good graphic for this What's News segment. I actually just have a banner at the moment because I couldn't figure out a way to save the file that Zach sent me. So sorry, Zach, but we'll get that sorted behind the scenes. But yeah, man, I actually am surprised. Like, dude, I got to self-admit, like I'm a pretty casual fan these days with UFC, but dude, even I can appreciate like the win that Khamzat had. And apparently everyone just thinks he sucks now. Obviously, you talked about it on your live. He was just getting all the hate on X or Twitter or wherever you want to do.
Yeah.
Even on Instagram, people saying like he sucks. And
the Facebook UFC card was the worst, dude. It was crazy. It was everywhere.
People comparing him to Bilal. Like this is like I don't know what's wrong with people. But anyway, I thought what would be fun for us to do straight off the bat would be to go over to the eBay platform and let's take a look at some Khamzat sold sales to see what's been doing.
I'm curious about the volume because I thought like the big win. Usually when somebody wins a title, whether it's like boring, exciting or not, usually the sales volume has a pretty good uptick. So that's what I was most curious about with Khamzat sales is he still moving and are people still buying his cards? I would assume yes.
Yeah. Well, obviously I don't know. Maybe people can let us know in the comments, but I'm not sure if we've had anyone in the UFC space, card space, as hyped as what Khamzat Chimaev obviously come in 2021 rookie class, just hyped off the bat from his performances during the pandemic, and then actually become champion now. About like 4 years on from that. So I'm not sure if we've had like, because you could easily say that Khamzat is top 3 most hyped UFC rookies that we've had for card product actually become. And who's another one? Bo Nickel.
I mean, Alex Pereira for sure. I would say Poton's in there, maybe in a top 5, top 10 list.
But Poton actually. Peloton had a belt before he had a card.
Yeah.
So as I said, that's a little bit different because
we got Tom Aspinall was 2022.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's obviously gained popularity since obviously winning the belt and
I'm just thinking of rookies that won a championship.
Yeah,
man, not many. Yeah, right. Not many, dude. I mean, for sure, Khamzat is the number one. He's got like the biggest sales in the past year or two. So like, there's no way that somebody's going to be more hyped than him.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So I'm wondering, like, we have not really seen any comparable examples of this before where a hyped rookie actually ends up claiming the title, because as you were sort of getting at too, yeah, normally regardless of a fighter where they're at with their card pricing, when they do eventually get that belt, we do see, especially the first time they win the belt, regardless of defenses, title defenses, when they do get that belt for the first time, we saw it with Sean O'Malley too. Sean O'Malley was pretty well hyped, and he got a pretty big pump too for the first few days when he won the belt for the first time. So it's going to be interesting to see. We'll head over to eBay's now and we'll see. People in the comments, let us know where you are watching from. As I said, we do have some international viewers, but we can head over. You've got this now, Zach, yeah, on screen?
Nope.
Nope.
Just us two for me.
All right. I'm not sure how we can change that. Yeah, no, it says we're sharing. So unfortunately, I thought it would come up on up here. There we go.
All right, got it.
All right, guys, we're there. All right, we can see we have his select black and blue from 2023. One bid that was at an auction for $30 only just yesterday. We have his rookie. Dude, what's doing here? Rookie select concourse, red disco. Yeah, red discos aren't as favorable as the true reds, for example. PSA 9, $27.
Yep. Yep. That's the market, dude. That's the market.
This is
was
why
that
you don't auction.
That was
18 bids, man. 18 bids. This is why you do not do auctions for UFC cards, guys. I've done it. Zach's talked about it, but this is proof in the pudding.
So many people are auctioning off. Like, I don't ever understand why you would auction off a big card or a card like this that maybe isn't the biggest card, but that like should go for a decent amount. The amount of people that are auctioning cards, I don't think that you can ever get a premium unless you're in a bidding war, which is so rare. You know, it's to me, it's so risky that I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
I don't know, man. This is just so disappointing. I have not checked these before.
Oh, it's live reaction.
This is live reaction, and I'm really disappointed in that. Like, that's just pathetic. But hopefully we get some good stuff coming along here. You know, we've got these base Phoenix from 2023 selling for $2.45, but yet his rookie red disco PSA 9. Grading costs that, people. The grading costs about $25 these days. We have the tops now. UFC 308, obviously autograph with sticker auto. That one's selling for $3.25. We'll scroll on through a little bit. We have that PSA 8 of that red refractor for his prison that we talked about in
2021.
$284.
That's surprising. I am surprised in a positive way with that.
Okay, yeah. See, I actually saw that there was that PSA 9 that we talked about. That was sitting at about $250, and I believe even after he won, because I was watching that card, even after he won, the seller did a $25 discount on that card, so it ended up being like $220 or something.
Yeah, that's smart. That makes sense.
We got some. Yeah, that makes sense. He wins, discount your card. Yeah. We got some immaculate. So yeah, what we'll do is maybe we'll check out some. We've got some of the bigger sales ending recently. We'll do highest first. So there we go. August 6th.
Wow. Okay.
So this is before the fight. We have that premium box set under 99 PSA 10 selling for $5K.
That is a lot more than I would think for an of 99. Was
exactly.
It was a PSA 10 though?
PSA 10 though, but still,
that's pretty high. Was that a auction or a buy it now?
No, that was a buy it now.
There it is.
We have the pink sapphire, your favorite runner one from this year's
paparazzi.
We have that sapphire true 101 selling for 2124 38. That one going to auction, so that's pretty not too bad bids on that one.
Look at this next one. The Mojo went for less than half of the 99.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Crazy private people. But we all need to petition. We need to start our own Facebook group. I think, Zach, get all these community members together, and we all need to start petitioning our cards at better prices. Do like the GameStop
Yeah,
Stop
right?
thinking.
Yeah, it
Well,
worked
we
it
all,
worked for them.
yeah, because that's like, yeah. As I said, this card is a quarter of the population, and it's selling for half the price in the same grade. No,
What,
sorry, it's PSA 9. Sorry, PSA 9. But dude, you can't be
when
selling
did
them.
when did that Mojo sell? What date?
14th. So that
So that
was
was
just before fight.
after the 5 grand sale.
Yeah, yeah, after.
That hurts. That would hurt if I was that seller.
And we have his 2023 Kaboom, which we're going to refer to later, I think, with our viewer question. But that one's selling for
Maybe we
2
might.
grand. That one only 2 days ago. Gem Mint 10. 2023 Kabooms, I think there's a lot more population than what the 2022s were. We have the Color Blast from 2023. We got that Vinyl 101 from Optic Dominators, 2022 Dominators, 1525. We've got his tie-dye Select, the 25 PSA 10. That one's on for 1500. So yeah, we've got prices all over the place here, Zach. We got the Immaculate Rookie Auto, not Rookie Auto. We've got the Immaculate, Canvas Auto, 1400 in the acetate. Dude, even this one, 2021. We got his gold
Yeah,
concourse.
that's a good buy, whoever got that. I like that.
1272 and a PSA 10. That is a good buy, whoever picked that one up. No way, man. No way someone bought that at $1,200.
Too high or too low?
I think that's too high, man.
I mean, if the of 275 is doing 275, 250, 300, like that's not too far off though. It'd be about 2x
Yeah, but
that.
this is like this is, as I said, we're seeing like prices are just all
Yeah.
over the place here.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
all over
that
like, look at that. You can
that's
get this
the issue.
concourse
Yes,
gold
that's
PSA
the issue.
10, better pricing, and then we have better grade, lower pop by 200%, lower pop, and then this one's selling for the same price, dude.
But we can agree it's not as good of an image, it's not as good of a card. So I mean, some of that
That's true. I
premium
know.
comes
I
into
obviously,
account.
yeah, I agree. But I said, especially if it was like, oh, okay, now we're getting into gold discos and things like that. Let us know, actually, people. Because I think you're similar thoughts to me, Zach, in terms of gold discos and true golds with Select. Like, we are preferring the true golds. Do you agree? Like, would you value the true gold more than the Select gold? Yeah, the disco. Sorry. Yeah. We have that other Mojo PSA 9, 1124.
I like that too. I think that's a good buy.
We have his first Kaboom. I like this one. First Kaboom 9.5. That one in Australia. Was that Matty Mac? Is that our boy?
Could be.
Matty Mac normally has his little logo here on the side, but we got that green disco. We just talking about discos to 5. It's in the Beckett 9, 1,075, 24 bids. The white sparkle, that one's surprising as well. Yeah. This is July 9th. We're going back here a while now. Because August 20. So, yeah.
I'm not entirely sure on the 2021 population of the white sparkle, but I know the later ones was rumored to be, around 30 to 40. So, like, that could potentially be priced pretty well in the right spot also.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that stat, but you would have to assume that it's a little bit lower for 2021. Yeah.
I would think so too.
Yeah, that other Kaboom for 879 raw August. That's after the fight as well. That is I think that's a good pickup. That's the other thing we don't know. Kabooms came in a specific pack. They came in their own packs in 2022 when they were released by Panini Instant, I believe.
Yep.
But we don't know the pop count of those either.
I think the sales volume is pretty good on this though, man. Like this is a little bit better than what I was thinking as far as the amount of not higher end, but like, $700+ cards. Like I feel like this is a decent amount.
Yeah, man, I agree too. I agree. August 17th, once again after the fight, that was almost fight day, 621 for the PSA 10 purple. That one was DC Sports. That's the only interesting caveat, which I'll sort of mention after this. We have the Khamzat PSA 9. I believe this is his first auto from Prism. I don't believe he had an immaculate 2021 autograph. I do believe this is his first pack pooled auto, was in 2022. Sorry, this is 2023 Prism. My mistake. I'm thinking of his 2022 Prism auto. But this is a nice one with the flashback auto. That one in a PSA 9, auto 10, 681 with 23 bids. But what I was going to say before, Zach, is I do think it's always a good idea if you, for whatever reason, want to auction your cards. I think you've got to get them consigned. You've got to get them consigned with one of these bigger consigners. Not only is it sort of, it's relative, from what my understanding is, it's similar in terms of fees that you're going to be paying for eBay. The consigners generally get better fees from eBay because they are getting like more volume, so eBay give them a better fees rate. But yeah, you're going to be getting way more eyeballs. So
yeah, most definitely. I haven't tried to consign with any of those companies, just because I always do a buy it now. I just feel like that takes all of the risk out of selling, and you get exactly what you want for your card, or you don't sell it and you still have it. But yeah, definitely consignment. You're gonna get way more eyes. I mean, some of those, if you look at like the watchers on the PSA or on the DC Sports, like some of those, the watcher count is like 50 plus, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, well, the good thing about that is you obviously, as I say, you're getting the eyeballs on it, but you, like, people from all over, from every sport, are sort of jumping on DC, those sort of consignment auction houses, and so you're sort of pulling in the broader eyeballs from the card hobby to get onto your cards. So I haven't tried it yet. I do actually think it's something I do want to try eventually. For sure, if I, as I said, wanted to auction a card again, that's what I would do. But I guess the sentiment here is don't auction your UFC cards. People keep them as buy it nows. And yeah, as I said, work with offers. If you do want to get rid of it, have it priced what you want it at, and then obviously you can work with offers from there on out. But
yeah, because people are going to shoot you bids, right? Turn your bids on, and either people buy it at exactly what you've listed it for, which is what you want, or Damien wants my card. I have bids open up to a certain point. He shoots me a bid, and then we go back and forth, and we try and bargain and get the best deal, either if you're buying or if you're selling. So I think that's definitely the most risk averse way to sell cards for sure.
Yep, definitely can agree on that. All right, we'll go over, check over the comments, see who's in here. Got a few people in here now. Matty Mac with his coffee. I also have mine too, Matty. So
what's up, dude?
Good morning, mate.
Down under.
We have Flailing Octopus. Hey guys, great content. What are your thoughts on? You like that one, do you, Zach? Like the Flailing Octopus?
That's a very descriptive name.
It actually is. Hey guys, great content. What are your thoughts on round 1 and 2 cards of Hall of Fame fighters being so cheap? Meanwhile, new releases of fighters not even close to the Hall of Fame, going for significantly more. Thanks. Yeah, Octopus. We talk about this a lot, don't we, Zach?
Oh yeah, this has been a huge topic for ever since we started collecting.
Yeah, and I mean, do we want to do you want to talk about this now, or what do you think?
Well, we could save this. Up to you, man.
Say this?
Up to you. It's your show. You let me know.
Man, I think this is just an interesting conversation piece in general. I don't think there's too much like research that we would have to do in order to give our opinions on this.
Yeah.
But we've talked about this a lot over our time, but on both of our channels, and also obviously, anytime Zach and I get together, it almost becomes a talking point. But round 1 and 2, man, people just, I don't know. I just sort of still fail to believe that people know that those cards exist and are not choosing to have them a part of their collection, just because I think if they did, then we wouldn't have such a pricing gap. And then I'm not even talking about like your Hall of Fame fighters. I'm talking about even your fighters that sort of, if you weren't watching the sport at the time, like I was watching the sport around 2009, but there's still plenty of fighters that are in that set who I actually had never heard of. And I think even those cards are underpriced. I mean, we are talking about the first ever licensed UFC card release ever. So I
Yeah.
think regardless of the card, regardless of the parallel, I think those should be the most collectible cards that we have. But obviously, it makes sense. I myself came into UFC cards 2022 only throughout my channel and deciding to make content. Obviously, I did maybe more research than what the average collector does, and that's why how I was able to learn about these older sets and sort of look at them and then understand them and appreciate them from a history point of view. But as I said, I think it's just a fact of we UFC cards growing each and every single day, new people coming in, and what takes their eye are the new modern day products. That's what gets put in front of them. That's obviously what they gravitate to, which makes sense. But I think at some point, as a collector, as part of your journey, you know, you do get curious about older products. You do start thinking that maybe the older stuff is like more scarce. As I said, it all depends on what the collector mindset that you have in terms of what you appreciate as a collector. I myself can only speak for myself in terms of I appreciate scarcity and rarity. So therefore, when we are talking about these original products, of course they're going to have lower print runs. Of course, there's going to be less available. And then even when you want to talk about condition of what as well, because UFC cards when they first come out only had a handful. Like UFC cards now are nowhere near what other sports cards are. Sports cards are very niche in itself, but UFC cards even nicher than that. And when you're talking about when these cards did first come out in 2023, man, I can't imagine there was too many people buying up the cards. So a lot of these ones just got thrown to the wayside and unappreciated. So that's where it leads to better conditions of these cards if you're picking them up now ungraded raw. But yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's just a factor of what's relevant, and what's relevant today are the fighters who are fighting today, but also the products that's coming out today. And I think from my point of view, I think a lot of people who have gotten into UFC cards, you know, this year, last year, they're still not educated about previous products for Tops UFC, for example. What were your thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, I know he mentioned like value and cheap. So if we're talking about like card pricing, before I go into why I think this is, I think it is a fact now. The round one stuff and the round two stuff is finally going for much, much more. I've had my eye on a GSP first auto, had my eye on Anderson Silva first auto. Those were like low $1,000 cards, like 11, 1200. Now they're going for, 19 to 2200. So like things are starting to pick up in that space. I think people are starting to realize that these cards are extremely rare, that they are extremely valuable, extremely collectible from some of the Hall of Fame fighters in the sport. But yeah, when you were talking about relevancy, I think that is the main driver of why people tend to look towards the newer items and towards the newer products and the newer cards and rookies that sell for crazy amounts, right? Comparatively to Hall of Fame guys, comparatively to even GOATs in the conversation. It is pretty insane when you look at like a person that is unproven. Sometimes they're not even ranked, Damien. They are not even in the top 15 rankings, and their rookie cards are vastly outselling Hall of Fame guys, GOAT guys, when you're talking about first autos, when you're talking about true rookies. And it's always been very perplexing. But I do think, just conversations like this, I also think Chicken opening those boxes on Whatnot and kind of showing people how cool they are and just kind of putting that into the world. I think that's really helped the vintage pricing, and a healthy vintage market and healthy vintage prices do nothing but boost everything else. I think it's a great.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. Same sentiment. Obviously, we share the same sentiment. And we have, sorry, was not meant to get rid of that comment just there. But yeah, thanks, Flailing Octopus. Hopefully, let us know. Does that obviously give we like that's our thoughts in terms of we do believe, like I can speak, I think Zach as well, and he mentioned it as well, like it is slowly now gaining traction. Like the vintage market, round one, round two cards, even today comparing to 12 months ago, has definitely seen an increase, as Zach pointed out as well. So I mean, as I said, there's no more of those round one and two cards going to be ever available. So what's out there now is
That
what
pool
is
is
out there.
small, dude. The pool is small.
So yeah, I think we, supply and demand, as we seem to mention a lot about as well. The demand's only going to grow higher and the supply is only going to grow thinner. So I think that puts those vintage UFC cards in the right direction. But
Yeah,
thank you very much for the question. That was a fun talking point.
yeah, and specifically with the round 1 and round 2s, like I know personally, when I buy one of those cards, especially the round 1, I am not getting rid of that. And I think a ton of other collectors have that exact same mindset. So like when these get pulled off the market, dude, I think the price is going to have to get pretty high for a lot of people to have to put them back out there. So like you were saying, supply and demand, when people are holding close to their chest, that's going to do nothing but raise the prices for the ones that do pop up eventually.
Yep, 100%. All right. Your name here, none. I'm not sure if is that actually her name, or is that some sort of
I hope that they thought of that, because that's hilarious if they did.
That is hilarious. Anyway, hopefully it's not a YouTube default and actually is very, very smart handle. And way smaller print runs, it's weird to me. Yeah, so as Zach and I were pointing out, like the print runs, especially from 2009 round 1, like first ever product Topps made for UFC, they didn't know what the demand was going to be. They didn't know what the audience was going to be.
Are those your thumbs? Put that back up again. Let me see that. Oh, but look, they looked huge because they were so close to the camera. It was crazy. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, yeah. The print runs, or even I think the print runs of anything probably pre 2015, pre 2016 are going to be like massively smaller than what they are post 2021.
Oh yeah.
Matty Mack. I think Boars is now not classified as hype, so post-championship wins prices have dipped. Yeah.
I guess that's fair.
That's a fair point for sure.
I think, man, when back on the Boars topic and people, the boredom and like, dude, this happens so often. As a Leon Edwards fan, I saw it firsthand, dude, and it hurt reading all the comments. He has that crazy Usman head kick. Everybody's finally a fan. I'm like, they're fans of my boy. This is awesome. And then the next fight, he has a good performance against Kamaru, but it's smart, it's tactical. And it wasn't super entertaining, if you will. There wasn't a ton of damage done, but he controlled the fight a lot. And like, I think it's kind of just the normal backlash with people. And you also have the pendulum kind of swinging, right? Like everyone was so hyped about this fight. Me and you alike both thought it was going to be a train wreck. No way this goes 5 rounds.
No decision. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I think we had that exact conversation. Like no way this goes 5 rounds. And for it to be so lopsided, I think the lopsidedness of it, where it wasn't competitive really at all, as well as the way that he got it done, I think those two things kind of made the pendulum swing so far. Everyone had such high expectations. Then when that played out, people were like, this is it, So
yeah, no, that was definitely a factor. Everyone was hyped. Like I talked about it, like I was like, this is one of the most excited like fights that I'm excited for like this whole year, because we knew it would have been coming for a while. And obviously to play out like that was a bit of a flop in terms of expectations. But to say like, oh, UFC is dead, Khamzat's like a bum, like Khamzat's terrible, this is why we all hate Bilal, like, come on, guys.
And then if you go to his wiki and you look at his recent fights, right, dude, all of his fights have been great, literally, except this one fight. And this fight, while it wasn't like a brawl or like super close, it was still like a great performance, which I think most people can like tip their hat to that. But yeah, man, very, very interesting. My favorite one is the 185 division is dead, because I haven't been this excited about the 185 division since like when Izzy and Whitaker were at their peak and fighting. Like I'm so hyped about RDR, about Fluffy, about Khamzat, about DDP. We have Strickland, we have Izzy, we have Kaya, we have Imavov. Like this is a fun division right now. So for people to say that, I was like, what are we talking about, man?
Yeah, it's definitely a fresh change. Obviously, there are some older names which keep it like still that little bit exciting in terms of almost nostalgic, because they're such the big names for 185, but they're sort of teetering. It's like where the 155 was, 12 months ago, 2 years ago. We had all these guys at the top who were just there, top 5 for the longest amount of time, and it was getting a little bit stale. But now it's definitely opened up to, as you said, some of these other fighters to now push towards the title. So, and as I said, Khamzat's going to have some interesting fights with some of those guys as well.
Yeah.
Shane Dog, thanks for stopping by. I think Khamzat is selling better in the 2K and lower price range than Ilya. Good point.
That's interesting.
That could be true. Yeah, I
Yeah,
said
that's
I
the
haven't looked into that, but that you know,
that's the sales volume, right? And
yeah,
that
volume
what's that
wise,
other app that you use that actually tracks sales volume, right? Is the
market
market
movers.
movers?
Yeah, yeah.
So
So I've got
that'd
that
be
on.
interesting to check out and look at.
Yeah, so I do actually have that, but not on this computer. So, but yeah, stick to as I say. And but to be fair, like although you get a little bit of stats, like eBay is a platform, especially for UFC cards. So even looking at the eBay solds can give
Mhm.
you a good reference. Down with that. Fell asleep watching main card. Rewatch this morning. Is that the? Are
He's
we
got to be
talking?
talking
We've
about
got to be.
Khamzat DDP. He's got to be talking about it.
No, I think he's talking about the Chinese ones. Maybe the
Oh,
Chinese
really?
card.
Dude,
I don't know. Maybe
that's
down with that.
wild.
Let us know down with
If you
that. Yeah,
woke up at 3 a.m. Oh, I guess it was. That's wild, dude. To
yeah.
wake up that early or I guess it was a different timing for Australian,
I think
right?
they were literally like Saturday morning or like Friday. Yeah, as I said, I do remember seeing something on the socials, but I'm like, surely that can't be this event. Like, surely that's tomorrow. Down with that, still don't think I'll start buying Walker cards yet.
Don't
No,
do it,
yeah,
dude. Do not
don't
do it.
do it. If you listen to me and me and Maddie from Golden Octagon, you do not want to be doing that. Shane Dog, Hasbulla probably the one buying all the Khamzats. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, dude.
So I'm sure there's some Saudi money that is going towards,
Man, I will say this though, like the higher end Hamza for him to win and be a champion is so good for the higher end market because he has some monster sales already before he's champion. If he can get together, another win at 185, maybe do it a little bit, maybe a finish or something like that, dude. Like I think we could see some maybe a 6-figure card out there. I would not be
yeah.
surprised if we see a 6-figure Hamzat card, which would be
He's
sick.
Black Prison 101. I'm not sure if that's ever been pulled or not, but obviously we saw the gold in a PSA 10 sold to Steve Aoki for 30 grand.
Yep.
And that was like 2 years ago now. So audio on point, by the way. Thanks, Matty Mac.
Thanks, dude.
Probably Zach's
No, that's not
Joe
me,
Rogan
man.
mic
I've been
carrying
having audio issues, and I appreciate Maddie Mac for calling me out and like, hey, you need to clean this up because I like the criticism when there's actually something to be fixed. So I appreciate that.
Motorbreath Blake, great content, guys. Always appreciate. We appreciate you, Motorbreath.
Sir.
Motorbreath Blake. He obviously gets in the questions as well, so we always appreciate when people do that.
Hey, motor breath, is that like, does that mean your breath is terrible? Like, what does that mean? Does that mean you're spitting gas or fire or what?
I think it means he likes his V8 engines.
Okay.
All right, we'll come back to the we will come back to the comments because we have other stuff to talk about. We're 30 minutes in and we haven't even got to viewer questions yet, Zach. But what I do want to quickly talk about is this. Obviously, massive news. UFC moving to Paramount. All you Yankees.
Is that us? What does that mean?
Yeah,
New York Yankees.
All you Yanks. Yanks is just like a common term for Americans in general. Obviously, you are all super excited. We're going to get UFC for $2 a month or whatever your Paramount subscription costs. Well, I can only speak for us Aussies. I'm not sure if we have any of our Spanish or European or Portugal or any of our other international viewers. Maybe they can let us know what's going on there. But I can only speak for us Aussies and Kiwi brethren as well over in New Zealand. But we can see the Paramount deal because UFC, their international rights are separate from their television rights in the US. It still means that us Aussies and Kiwis, for example, we still have to pay for main events. We still have to pay for pay-per-view, Zach. We are still on the pay-per-view model. And I think that's absolutely doo-doo.
Wait, what about this? Can you get on a VPN, say you're in America, get Paramount Plus, and then watch it? Would that be able to like blanket you into getting all of the fights and everything? Is that a genius hack or is that stupid?
Zach, you're talking to a guy who just had his backlighting fall out at halfway through show. So I'm the last person you want to be asking about VPNs and tracking and streaming. And I don't want Dana hates me as it is. I don't need Dana cracking down on me.
It's true. You're calling him out on his collection, dude. Just pooping on his collection. Dude. He's pissed.
He sends me enough lawsuits as it is. I don't need another one. But yeah, we can see for us here. It's KO Sports. I do believe it's in New Zealand. It's still Fox. The Sky Sports NZ. Sorry for New Zealand fans, but yeah, nothing changes in terms of us Aussie fans with pay-per-views. We still have to be paying for them. As I
It's kind of
said, it's
whack.
actually pretty disappointing. I do believe the international rights will come up again later, or maybe the beginning of 2026. So maybe they can't announce anything yet. But from all reports, just at this point in time, we have no change for UFC events. So still paying. I think KO Sports are about. I've bought two of the most recent ones. I bought the O'Malley one, and I bought the Holloway. And I do believe they're about 60. I have a KO subscription. That's a subscription service for sports, similar to ESPN, I guess, in the States. But yeah, you pay a subscription per month, and then you pay a fee. I think it was like $60 or $70 for me to get those events. So
that hurts, man. That hurts. Hopefully,
yeah,
you
man,
guys will get the same thing, because for us, this is, dude, this is so, like, okay. So when I was doing the math, it was around 1,400 a year for a United States fan to get
yeah, I remember seeing
access
it
to
broken
everything.
down. Yeah,
It's insane. And now it's only going to be like $160 for everything. So that is like almost a 10x cost savings. And dude, it's just insane. I'm really excited about it.
Yep. As I said, great for you guys. For now, hopefully we get some news in 2026 in terms of what the streaming will be in the international rights. But at the moment, as I said, reported to be all be the same in terms for at least Australia and New Zealand. So us fans, which, as I said, this is disappointing because we've talked about this as well so many times. UFC is such an international sport.
Yeah.
We need fans from all over the world to be tuning in for this, and then for international fans, which I do believe would be a big part of UFC's viewership, are still getting screwed. So hopefully that changes.
Can you guys purchase like Paramount Plus? Like, can't you? Is that not how it works, or is there a different deal depending on like where you are?
I think there's a different deal depending on where you are in the world. So yeah. Hopefully that changes and we get something else going on in 2026. We get some better news for us international fans.
Yeah.
But we will get – yeah, you're right.
I was going to say, as far as how do you think this is going to affect the card space? And like, because personally, I think this is going to be a big bump for eyes and just for broad appeal in the UFC space. I think this is going to get a ton of different people watching the sport and watching the UFC in general. Is that kind of what you're thinking as well with the American audience and with this deal? Just because right now, like, it's buried so deep, man. Like, one, nobody has ESPN Plus. Nobody is watching ESPN Plus. It's a trash app. It's not even like a real streaming platform. It's not. And so just to move to like a more real streaming platform, I know like a lot of normal people have Paramount Plus. Now they're going to have access to watch the biggest fights of the biggest guys. It's also going to be simulcast in America on like a cable channel, which is free. As long as you have a digital antenna, you could get the fights for free on multiple events per year. So I think it's going to have a big boost. What are your thoughts for it kind of maybe inflating the card market, or do you think there's not much change?
No, I think obviously not immediately, but I think if we take snapshot of, let's say, now in 2025, where 2/3 through the year, I think we compare now to maybe 2 years time. Obviously, the UFC market as a sport would have naturally grown anyway because it is, of course, still growing. But I think if we were to take a snapshot of UFC now, I think we would have seen a decent increase in terms of UFC card pricing, because we are, as you said, for it to be more accessible, to be in more people's homes, to have that reach to potentially new viewership.
Yeah.
I think that's going to affect sort of people, how they feel about the sport and how they want to support their favorite fighters and athletes as it is. So, and that'll only naturally lead to collecting collectibles, which includes cards. So I definitely think we should see a boost from this. It would be hard to imagine that it'd have no.
How could it get worse than the pay-per-views?
Yeah.
It's I'm also curious to see how this helps the company, because like, dude, how many people are streaming these fights and not paying for pay-per-views, and how many of them are not paying for anything ever, that are now potentially going to pay $150 a year to get every single fight HD, never buffer, never have to open and pop-ups every. Like, I think you're going to get a lot of people that are, have the eye patch on and that are like longtime pirates that are going to
Yeah.
actually stop
Yeah, I
selling the
agree.
open season pay. So I think we
Yeah.
could actually see a little bump in the UFC's business just because of this as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the value for your dollar, what you're getting, what you will be getting under a Paramount subscription, and considering the events you'll be getting, like it's almost like it's a no-brainer in terms
Yeah,
of
it's crazy.
you would just pay for it. And obviously, as you said, you not only it's not like it's just a UFC subscription. You are getting the other
Yeah.
benefits of a subscription as well with Paramount. So yeah, definitely you would, as I said, pirates. I think they will be jumping off the ship
Yep.
and they'll be tuning in to Paramount Plus for sure. We have Shane Dog as well. Dude, we're getting some comments here. We are interacting with people, which is great. We appreciate these people getting into the comments. The point on one of the last videos about Kaboom and Enel prints being high collectible on point 2, Panini will never make those again. They're hard to gem to.
We
So,
may
yeah.
be talking about some inserts here soon, so stay tuned, man. That's on the docket.
That is on the docket because we do have a viewer question that we will be getting to in the next couple of seconds. But definitely, as I'm just trying to plug in my computer here. There we go. Don't want the computer to crash midstream. That'd be great. But yeah, obviously Shane Dog, for those of you who maybe are not too sure, he is referring to a video that I did reacting to the former Leaf CEO, Brian Gray, talking about the classic Panini inserts. And considering we only had 3 years, he wasn't referring to UFC cards, but obviously I referred it to UFC cards.
Yep.
And even if you want to take it into WWE cards as well, the short 3-year run that Panini had for WWE and UFC, I do believe due to the legal aspects of Panini going after the leagues aren't going to then now sign a deal with Panini in the future in a few years' time after the top one's done up. So we're not going to have licensed Kabooms and some of these other inserts we're about to talk about, because we have a question from our good friend, UFC card fan, aka J Money.
He's the
Once you
man.
jump off this stream, if you are not already subscribed, which I'll be surprised if you're not, but if you aren't, check out his UFC card channel because he is the man. But he has a question from a little while ago. If you could only collect 2 insert sets, one vintage, one modern, what would they be and why? Zach, fun question, mate.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to start with here?
Let's go vintage.
All right, we'll start with vintage. So, Zach, let the people know. You've only got one insert to collect from a vintage UFC set. Which one is it going to be?
Yeah, this was a tougher. I feel like the modern one was a little easier, because we have some like really higher end modern inserts that are selling, and to go back into the vintage era was kind of tough for me. And I chose it. I kind of cheated like I always do, man. I'm a cheater when it comes to these topics, dude. I like to bend the rules a little to fit how I really feel. And I decided to take this as an insert set. And I actually have this insert set. It's the 2009 Topps Round 1 Victorious debut set. And I really like this image. I think this is one of the best looking inserts, probably the best looking insert from this product. I think it's one of the best looking cards from this product also. It has the pictures of the fighters on their debut fight. It has the result on the back of like when they fought, how the fight went, kind of the breakdown of the fight, which I think is pretty interesting. All vertical images, which is awesome. There's also some really compelling images in here too, man. Like this shot with Rampage is like sick. You got his left hand kind of coming out of the design, making it like 3D, really good foil action. And also there's a lot of gold in this, which this is like the base card, dude, but there's like a ton of gold in this, which I think is pretty fun as well. Also, I think like we were talking about earlier with the vintage, man, I just think there's not going to be a ton of these around. They're tough grades. So I completed it as a set, and this is definitely one of, if not my favorite insert set from the vintage era. What about you, man?
Yeah, I wasn't surprised when you sent this one over because I do know you obviously are putting this set together. And I agree. If you like the images, the shine on these do had a very low parallel run as well. There wasn't too many parallels for this one. I think there was only, I
The
think it was
of
only
88.
the of 88 and then the red maybe. I think that was
Yeah,
it.
I think there's a red. You're right.
Yeah. So that's it. So even to have
Yeah,
a base, a
yeah.
base of this insert is not the equivalent of having a base of an insert today. But
No,
as you said,
these sell for pretty good, man. Like if you get a PSA 10 of one of the big guys, you're talking that's a easy $100+ card, which is pretty cool.
yeah, and yeah, the imagery on this card, and we talked about, they have a nice shine. The design, even with the octagon cage as well in the background, the poses, just a well put together set. So I definitely agree with you on that one as well. I myself, I think we all went semi-biased picks, which
As
is
always,
okay
right?
because
Oh yeah. What are we gonna do?
I mean, this is a collector. Obviously, everyone's answer is going to be different, but obviously, when J Money put this question out, it makes sense to go to cards that you've already picked up, right? And I myself, I've spoke about these before. I'm just going to talk
I
about these
knew
belt
it.
relics.
I'm gonna start saying what I think it is just to see if I can get it right. I knew it, dude.
I've
This
talked
is a
about
sick
these
one.
several
It's a
times
sick one.
before. Yeah, we obviously had these. This is a 2011. This is the Anderson Silver. This is the gold 25. Same thing. Not too many parallels of these made. They also did them. This is from Title Shot 2011. They also did them 2014 Title Shot. They also had a 2015 where they put canvas relics in them as well, and they just look absolutely
Yeah, that's pretty
amazing.
cool.
They're a horizontal one. The only thing that keeps me away from those is they're horizontal, but I still have my eye on a couple of those. But if you have not seen these in hand, you can't really appreciate from this picture. But the detail of the actual belt plate, it's made from plastic on the card, but it is
What? That's
very,
not
very
gold.
detailed.
That's not solid
No, it's
gold.
not. It's not. That's not. We ain't talking Dana White's pure gold cards here. But yeah, these belt rally plates, I just think they're so specific to the sport. I think they look great. I love the aspect of, it's a 3D relic on there in terms of this belt plate, how detailed it is. And they were obviously reserved for champions. I have a Randy Couture in this exact same card, exact same parallel that I'm very happy with as part of my collection. So these ones we haven't seen since 2014 Title Shot, as I said, even 2015, and we had they did start doing some canvas relics in there as well. So these ones, I'm not sure if they're going to bring them back, but if
They won't,
don't,
dude. There's no way they do that. The intricacy in that belt, and I bet you how difficult it was to manufacture that and then put it onto the card.
it's
No
too
way we see
expensive.
those.
I
Yeah, no
agree.
way.
That's a good point. Yeah, as much as probably
We
people
we
like
yeah,
myself,
we
collectors
want
like
them.
myself, treasure these
We
cards. But
want
yeah,
them.
the intricacies, which, as I said, I didn't actually think of, but that's a good point. They're not going to do that. It's too expensive compared to just printing sheets of paper now. But Zach, that brings us to the modern one. Now I know you want to do your shout
I
out
cheated.
first, or
I cheated again, dude.
cheated. Yeah.
I wanted to do an honorable mention, and we actually talked about it earlier in the episode. So before I talk about my one that I'm going to stamp on approval, I want to talk about the 2022 Panini Instant Kaboom. Again, Damien, that video you made the other day really kind of made me introspective and think about some of the more Panini era cards. And also, I had a comment on a video a while back. It might have been a live stream that was like, "What are inserts that we think could stand the test of time?" And I maybe we'll do a video about that in the Panini Instant Kaboom could be one of those cards. Visually, I think it's a really nice card. Super crazy shine. You got the vertical aspect. It's really unique too, man. Like whenever you're looking at cards and then this comes along, for whatever reason, maybe it's the font or the layout. It's just a very unique design. So I had to give a shout out to this one.
Yep. Nothing else to disagree with that, because I completely agree.
But my pick, man, my pick for my favorite modern insert, it's one that we saw pretty recently too. It came out in 2024. It's going to be the Topps Royalty Liquid Silver. You could go liquid gold as well, but I think the liquid silver is really the one that I would go after just because of price. Because the gold is like insane. It's a 1-on-1. This is what my pick for the most beautiful card in 2024. I think this was the best card design in 2024, has the best eye appeal of any of the cards that they made. Every single card, I think this is the nicest one. I still haven't seen one of these in person, but like the images, man, like look at that image. It's just ridiculous. The amount of different shine, the amount of different like grain patterns and textures that you have in this is insane. And the rarity of these, man, 22.25 cases to hit one of these. Of all the inserts in 24, this was the rarest. So to combine that with it being the rarest insert, as well as the beautifulness of this card, personally, I had to pick this one, man. It's really nice. And I need to get one for the collection. A couple cards have precedent, but I do think eventually I'll get one of these.
All right, the countdown is on. The countdown is
He's
on.
starting the
But yeah,
clock.
once again, I've not seen these in person, but I can imagine. And as you said, not even the design, like the rarity of these is pretty insane.
Yeah.
So I agree. You know, Sean O'Malley does have one of these.
Yep.
But, you know, as I said, to be fair too, like if you had one of these up for sale, like you'd want to hope that you know what you have. Don't send it to auction. And but yeah,
they're not
you're gonna pay out of pocket. Like even I'm gonna even I don't have an image, but like you would I actually was interested for you to say that because I know you are the stats guy, I know you are the odds guy, but I didn't know that these are even more rare than the hidden gems because of the hidden gems for 2024 was another card that I've sort of grown to appreciate as well from Chrome. So
yeah, as well as like talking about long-term collectability, we have the story of, and I haven't checked pricing on royalty, the boxes, but like we have the story of, you know, $700 to $1,000 boxes on release day. Like to me, that alone is going to help the collectability and the value of this card over time, I think.
Yeah, definitely as well. Definitely an added point as well. The value of even getting a box of this is going to be a barrier for a lot of people. I myself, all right, Zach, you talked about it before. Are you going to pick? You got to pick which one. I think if you know me, I think most of the viewers who watch my stuff should be. I talk about this card every second week, Zach.
I'm going to say the Sean O'Malley throwback, or I'm cheating again, the Fireworks 21 Pulsar.
Boo to you, Zach. Boo to you.
0 for 1.
It is a Prism one, of course. 0 from 1, but it's this. The Instant Impact stack. You should have had this one.
That was close.
Now, this is my card. I actually recently picked this up. Some absolute moron was selling this for $90. Buy it now. Justin Gaethje Gold 2021 9.5.
Good grade too.
I've got the Izzy in a 9.5. I had the Holloway, which was a 9 that I got crossed over to BGS 9. So I've got 3 of these now. The Holloway will never be for sale, but these other 2, dude, I'm stacking these away for 10, 15 years because I talk about it all the time. We only had 1 year of these. Not only was it debut Prism, there was no Instant Impact from 2022 Prism, no Instant Impact from 2023 Prism. I also talk about how there was not many parallels to these. We had the base, we had the silver, we had the green that were unnumbered. That was it. And then for the numbering, we had the Mojo to 25. We had the green Pulsar. There was no pink Pulsar. And we have the gold to 10. And then I believe there's a black 101. So there was literally, 4 parallels to this card as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes it even more rare, even more collectible in my mind. That's why I'm getting behind these cards. I think they're an incredible buy-in price because people aren't connecting the dots that at least I like to connect at the moment in terms of where I think there's value to be had. And as I said, not only that, I think these are like, you know, we've seen recently in the past 2 years, like people draw back or look back on the inserts, like the basketball inserts from like the 90s. And I think this is one of those sort of crazy designs.
Pretty wild.
That I think people are going to appreciate over time. Instant Impact, obviously, like impact of the sport as well. Like I like to draw the reference as well to the insert to the actual sport that we're collecting. And as I said, I can't speak about these cards highly enough, and I just don't understand why they're not already collectible. But this is definitely hands down my favorite.
I like it, man. See, this is why I enjoy these conversations because, like, I would have never picked this card. And I honestly didn't realize, all of the things that you just said, and it makes total sense as to why this would be super collectible in years to come. And also, like you were talking about it on the design, I haven't seen this in person, but it looks really nice through the picture. It makes perfect sense with the sport too, which I know a lot of collectors have hated on Midnight for that exact reason. Like, the set just doesn't necessarily make sense. The designs don't make sense. This makes perfect sense for a sport that has, the collisions that we see with these fists and knees all the time.
Yeah. No, I'll even send you some photos. I'll send you like, as I said, I don't have this one in hand. It's in my my inventory with my ship my cards in the States at the moment, but I do have the Easy and I do have the Holloway. So I'll send you some better
Yeah,
photos.
or a video might be nice too of the
Yeah.
like a little refraction. That'd be cool.
Yep. No, I'll send that over to you. Let's see what the people have been saying. Oh wow.
Is there a lot or
Down with
nothing?
a lot, man.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Down with that. I'd say it's because more younger people are getting into UFC, and that's probably why not
Yeah.
into older cards, as they're probably getting their favorite fighters now and looking for us. Yeah, definitely a factor as well. Down with that for sure. Mark, welcome, mate. I'm not sure we've seen you before, but thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it. Morning, gents. Just a shout out to Damien, as I just got my Whatnot package this week. Great seller. Glad to see your video about the experience.
Nice. Cool, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for stopping by as well, and thanks for for this shout out. Yeah, I've done 3 shows now on Whatnot. That one that I recorded was from last week. The first week I did 2, and then I did 1 this week as well, which is the WWE one. But the UFC ones were fun. The UFC definitely seemed to have a strong community here in Australia, so definitely excited to interact with those people more. And as I said, I actually had a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, man. Your video made me really want to maybe potentially do a Whatnot show and try and move some of the cards that had just been sitting idle on eBay for a long time. I'd have to kind of price that out on the lowest I would take, because I know you can kind of negotiate as you're going through. But like, seems like a good option, and maybe something that myself and other people with cards that they're trying to move should take advantage of.
Yeah, no, definitely. As I said, without a doubt, you're not getting eBay buy it now prices. Depending on the card, depending on the audience that you have as well. Obviously, you're on the States, so Whatnot is even bigger there. The UFC community is even much bigger there, so chances are you would be getting more eyeballs, more action on your auctions. But dude, as I said, for what I was selling, as I said, I'm not getting eBay prices, but they're getting sold for the most part.
It's
I sold
moving,
90% of what I had, and overall, it was just a fun experience to be having. It's not like you just put a card up on eBay and then you just wait for it to sell. Like, you're interacting with people in the community. It's a good time as well. So as I said, I definitely recommend it to people to try it who haven't already tried it before. Motor Breath Blake, he is letting us know a Metallica song called Motor Breath.
Perfect sense.
There you go.
We got to listen to that one day.
Your name here is back again. Any thoughts on the 2020? I did not know that they released. I've been checking out the PFL. Like, I've been Googling Panini PFL for the last, because they announced this in like June or July last year. I've literally been Googling this randomly every few months.
And you missed it.
And I missed it, man.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might just go and snipe singles on this. That was my thought for some of these, because there are some names that I think will potentially come to the UFC in the future, some really solid younger guys, and this would be a cool card to have, especially just as an MMA fan. If they do ever come to the UFC and they do end up doing something in the sport, I think this would be a fun one to have.
Arguably one of the biggest names in PFL is a female right now with Dakota, so
maybe we need more of that, so that would help the women's divisions to have a little more talent scattered throughout.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm going to jump off this right now. Sorry, guys, end the show, and I'm going to go check out 2025, because I'm actually secretly on the inside. I am screaming, because I'm telling you, I've been Googling like, man, when's this PFL Panini product going to come out? But thank you, Your Name here, for letting us know. Don't underestimate the TKO effect with WWE's continuing success and ratings. Higher tide raises all ships. Matty Mack tuning in with obviously TKO is the holding company for UFC and WWE. So, and we're getting a lot of crossover I like between WWE and UFC. Obviously, WWE now streaming on Netflix. WWE is actually going over to ESPN. So the one thing I've enjoyed this year is Netflix have had all the premium events, and they've all been for free on Netflix.
Yeah.
But as of next year, they will be going to ESPN,
That I
which
don't.
I
Yeah,
don't
I don't
like.
love. I don't love that because ESPN
So,
had the UFC's experience was not great.
but WWE is big business, so
Yeah,
I'm sure they know what they're doing in terms
they got a
of
boatload of
you know.
cash, probably.
But they got a boatload of money. But yeah, as I said, the crossover effect is
Mhm.
huge for that holding company. So probably one to put some money towards instead of buying cards. Octagon of Honor.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
good choice.
great.
That's a good choice for your name here. MDS tuning in. I hit the like button twice, once for each chance.
Nice.
Yeah, man, I am not like Zach. I haven't prompted the people to hit the like button, but it
Yeah, how
seems
many
though
likes are
MDS
we
has
at?
put it
What
out
are we
there.
at?
I don't know, man. I can't see. Someone tell me. Maybe
We got to get.
one of the lads can let us know what we're at.
What do we want to get? What are you trying to hit?
Dude, we are trying to hit 20.
Nice, solid 20.
We ain't on box alarm numbers over here, but I do have, but box alarm is here. So come on, guys,
20, baby. We could do it.
get us to 20. All right, Zach. What I did want to quickly check, we're hitting the hour mark, which is pretty much wrap up time, but we're not going to wrap this up yet. We're going to keep this going. This has been good fun. We appreciate everyone who is floating this boat in terms of keeping all the comments coming through. Keep them coming through. Keep the chat coming through. I'm not sure how much Zach time has, but I've got a bit of time this morning, so we'll keep running. But what I do want to obviously talk about quickly is the Leron Murphy effect. He did have a massive win, UFC 319. We have the champ, Volkanovski, calling him out at this point. What do we think? Is Leron Murphy going to get the next title shot over the winner of Jean Silva and Diego Lopez?
Man,
Ooh.
if Champ Folk is saying that's what he wants, and he tweeted it, almost immediately after the fight, I think that's what the Champ Folk gets. I would be surprised if they end up, especially with that finish, man. Like, I mean, you cannot get a better finish than that, and against a guy like Pico, who was really up and coming, and had to, despite him never fighting in the UFC, I feel like he had pretty good name recognition going into this fight. So for then Murphy to come out and elbow him right in the temple, dude, and destroy his brain, I think he's getting the title shot for sure.
Yeah, man, that was a bad KO. But I do agree. I think, as I said, if Volk's calling you out, I think that's a fun matchup. Obviously, we're still a month out from Diego and Jean Silva fighting at UFC Noche, but I think Volkanovski wants to fight before the end of the year, so it makes sense to do a quicker turnaround and get Leron Murphy in there. And I thought, why not better? Another 2022 rookie, Zach. I'm telling you.
We didn't even think about him potentially being a guy that could have broke through and been a guy to get. He has not been on my radar at all. But that's the perfect type of guy to actually speculate on, because his pricing before this was pretty good, man. Like, actually some reasonable pricing.
Obviously, he's undefeated for people who haven't heard that stat before. I know the one thing, because I actually have been following Leron for quite some time now. He's had some injuries, man. He had a really, really bad, I think it was like a motorcycle accident. I'm going back like 2 years now. It was during his UFC career, because he's been in the UFC since 2021, I believe. But
that sucks.
He's had a lot of injuries that have sort of kept him at bay from competing. He hasn't been super active. He's put a couple of performances now. I believe in the last 12-ish months, he's fought two, maybe 3 times over the last 18 months, which is really good for him, considering, as I said, because I do believe it was either a car or a motorbike accident. I did see on his socials a couple of years ago, he had a really, really bad, like it was almost like to the point where you'd maybe think that you're not going to compete again. But he's such a talented fighter, well-rounded. Just solid all around. And as I said, I think he normally gets the decisions. Normally, like,
he does. I remember.
Who he reminds me of? He reminds me of a younger Leon Edwards, in terms of not only is he an English guy fighting out of Manchester, but Leon I think Leon Edwards struggled in terms of even getting opponents because he was such a technical good fighter. Like he didn't carry the name as well that made sort of the top 5 wanting to actually fight him, because it was high chance they were not going to win. And obviously a win against him wouldn't have really done too much as well for their career. So it was tough for Leon Edwards to get to the title. He had to fight through a lot of contenders and fight his way to get there. And that sort of has been the Lerone Murphy story as well. But we can see some of these sales here. I just want to check over him to see where he's at. Because as you said, his cards were very, very cheap there before this, even leading up to this fight. They've always been cheap, but hopefully he's getting some love now, especially because he will be fighting for the belt probably this year. We have that 2022 select Octagon side. That's a flash by the looks of that. 1800 101. We got his Topps Chrome, his first year Topps Chrome 2025. Sorry, not 2025. He would have had 2024. But we got the 2025 Topps Chrome Super Refractor 101 as a buy it now. We have that card selling twice, apparently. So I do believe, actually, you did have someone mention on your... So this never got paid for. Didn't you? You had someone, you were saying on the live, you had someone, you did have a viewer, that this card got sold. So
yeah, no, they didn't pay. And then he sold the next day. Mm-hmm.
Then he 3 days later he's put it up and sold. So good for that seller. That was meant to be the happy tree. This gold prism, which is a beautiful, if you like horizontal, like this is a nice image, man. That is a very nice image for Lerone Murphy. We've got the gold prism there, rookie prism, PSA 10, selling for $1,000. Is that too cheap, Zach?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's still, he hasn't won a title yet. You know how I am with prospecting and rookies. That'd be a lot of money for me to bet on him, especially at his age, because isn't he like 33, or he's not necessarily young. So that would be that's a little risky at this point. But like, if he wins, that price makes perfect sense.
Could we not argue that this is his second best card?
Yeah, definitely.
We haven't had Lerone Murphy autos yet, I do believe. So he doesn't currently have an auto. So his best card is going to be that Black Prism 101, and then next up after that.
Yep.
Obviously, unless you want to talk about 101 selects, which I would honestly prefer. Probably a gold prism over like one of the select 101s. Maybe the Octagon side. Obviously, we saw the flash. I wouldn't. If this
depends on the image, I think, for me.
If this is a nice card too, but not the flash, I wouldn't be chasing the flash of that. But obviously, maybe a collector, you can get what you can get, especially when you're talking about 101s. But yeah, I actually don't think that's. I think that's a good sale. I wouldn't say it's certainly too underpriced. I think we UFC need more of this. We have that teal to 49 PSA 10 selling for $350. There we go. Just talked before. Sorry, we do have Lerone Murphy autos from 2025 Topps Chrome.
If that's his first auto, that's a good buy. Of 5 for 300, like that to me, that pricing is where I would want to be with him in his current situation and potentially his future.
Yeah, apparently Big K had 2 of them, or maybe had the same effect. Didn't get paid for.
Those auction, I guess people can technically buy it nows and then not pay. So that I've had that happen, which is annoying. So
it can happen either way as well. Yeah, blue flash from Prism. We got the Future Stars auto there as well. Can't believe I said that. What an idiot! But anyway, but I do believe this is his first autograph. So
I mean, it was that was recent,
by one release. Yeah, $250 for his gold disco select. Tie-dye in the PSA 10, 200. So yeah, getting at least same thing. Yeah, like we are getting this, like all these sales coming after the event, leading into the event. These would not have happened. If he didn't get the win that he did. So.
Yeah, and the way he did. If he doesn't have that insane knockout, he definitely has 100%. Nowhere near the buzz.
Yeah, if he doesn't get that TKO, I agree. If it had been a decision win, then we wouldn't be seeing the volume that we have for him. All right, we'll check the comments before we get to the recaps, because it's going to be a short recap. MDS still in there. I hit the like button twice. All right, thanks, dude. We appreciate that. We can go on to the pay-per-view recap. PPV Buys recap.
Hey man, we're not going to be able to call it pay-per-view buys anymore because there's not going to be any pay-per-views with
I
the
can.
new deal.
Well, I can
Or
do
do we
two
just keep
banners.
it? We just, actually
No.
internationally, right? Like we could just keep it in the
Yeah, that's
future.
right. Mine's a still. I'm
You're
paying for
you're
a pay
right.
per view.
You're
You're
right.
going to
I'm
change
wrong over
yours. We'll
here.
have two banners. Yeah. But Zach, man, I think I know what the answer is going to be for this. But this was your card, the Jeff Neal, the first
Yeah.
autograph,
Yeah, dude.
the horizontal point to the.
To the
I don't know who
hospital for Jeff Neal.
pointing to the exit.
He's pointing to the stretcher. No, man, I did not sell the Jeff Neal, and I think I
Shock.
may never be able to sell the Jeff Neal because when him and Pico, both of them
Whatnot.
with that
Whatnot.
knockout, dude. Yeah, right,
Whatnot.
for $3. But I did, Damien, I did sell my midnight Carlos Prates RPA. That did sell despite the damage. A viewer actually bought it. So Much Soul bought it. Shout out to you if you're watching. I also gave him a Prates base card, and this was like 3 days before that knockout. So I at least did make a sale on this fight. It just wasn't the Jeff Neal card that sold. But
Yeah, man.
yeah, pretty insane knockout, dude. And Prates continues to just climb up.
Yeah, dude. Prates back on top. Obviously, I said he not that he'd fallen off in terms of even that Ian Gary, dude. I'm telling you, Ian Gary is. I think he's getting slept on too.
Yeah,
But I myself,
I'd
like
agree with
Ian
that.
Gary, if you look at Ian Gary's performances against the people that he's fought, and then his opponents, their performances, even after like Ian Gary beats him, it just makes him look even better, I think. I, on the other hand, had this Laron Murphy rated rookie Don Ross Panini instant, and it did not sell.
What? I thought you
I
were
had
going to
it
move
out.
this.
Had it for 20 AUD. So what's that? It's about $13 USD maybe, and I had it at free shipping as well. But
Reasonable
yeah, it didn't
price.
move. I think the problem was with this, even though it's a Panini instant rated rookie, it is numbered to 490 something. But there was a lot of these out for sale. Even when I listed this, I was like,
yeah.
I was shocked at like, damn, there's already like 15 of these out. I think it was more of 15. I think one seller had like 10 of them.
Yeah.
So there was obviously those are the states too. So I at least, had the Australian market on my side, because if Australians going to buy this in Australia as opposed to buying it in the States, but I think even then still Laron Murphy's not carrying the biggest name. Even after a big knockout, he's not have too many people in Australia looking for that card. So unfortunately it did not sell, but that'll be another one that'll get regurgitated when he comes up to fight Volk, I guess.
Yeah.
And who knows, with a championship win, maybe that one does actually move.
You got to put it on Whatnot, dude. That thing will move on Whatnot. I guarantee it.
Yeah. As you said, starting at 99 cents and let it rip.
Yeah.
That's the only way to do Whatnot. But guys, we are going to wrap this up. We've been here for an hour and 12 minutes. People have stuff to do. Zach, very much appreciate your time. We appreciate everyone who got in the comments now. If you are still watching here, if you do want us to answer a question, Zach, we will be over on your channel leading into the UFC 320 pay-per-view event. And I know we have I got another question to send over to you.
Oh,
I know
nice.
But yeah, we're always looking for questions to answer from our fans, from our viewers.
If we don't answer it on that episode, we will probably answer it on the live that will be on my channel this month. So keep sending them in. We will get to them eventually. And dude, if we get enough, we could have a whole episode that's just viewer questions, which would be sick. So
that would be good.
Them.
Yeah, definitely. We love them. We want to keep them coming. As Zach said, prompted last time, whatever they are, car related, UFC fight related, even what Zach and I are doing behind the screen,
whatever,
the
man.
scenes as well. Whatever you guys want to ask us, you can ask us, and we'll get to it on an upcoming collab. So next time around, we will be, collabing for the regular recording with all the favorite segments, trash, hold, sell, agree or disagree, even talking about our pay-per-view buys leading into the next event. And then after that, we will be having another live they will all be on Zach's channel for next month. Appreciate everyone. Thank you for stopping by, guys. And we'll see you here next time very, very soon.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, everybody.